Okay, so here we are, part 2 of the famous people's signatures. If you didn't see the first video, please make sure to check it out. I'll put the link here and in the description below. Also in the part 1, I was making a little debrief of what traits to look at when analyzing people's signatures, so make sure to check this out. If you have seen the part 1 of the video, I just want to make a little disclaimer that part 2 is gonna be organized in a more compact way. So without further ado, let's get it started. So first we have Prince Harry. Prince Harry is a member of British royal family and a Duke of Sussex. I have my laptop here, so we're gonna be looking at his signature. His signature is very large, it's very wide, there is no spacing really, and the slant is with the letter H towards left, then it's straight, so we can't give such an accurate description about his personality. The signature looks messy overall, and it's hard to describe whether the letters are round or angular, so we're gonna leave it for the moment. Large signature signifies someone who's confident and outgoing. The width tells us he's a visionary but also very prideful man, and no spacing means he's closed off and anxious. The slant towards left indicates that he's rooted in the past, so probably something happened in the past and he just can't let it go. I'm wondering what could it be? It also means that he's reserved. Messy signature, messy mind. There's a lot of going on in his head. I found a very nice pictures that compares his signature throughout months, so we can have a look at it. His signature doesn't really change that much with time. However, we can see that in April 2018, he was rather happy and positive when writing this signature because the baseline is going upwards, so it means he's very future-oriented and optimistic. Otherwise, the baseline stays rather straight, which means he's rooted in the present. But let's jump to the letter specifics. Especially in this first signature is the full stop at the very end. The full stop signifies that he has a strong sense of self and he's a serious person. Now, out of curiosity, let me check his mother Diana's signature. I can't believe it, guys. Look, she also has a full stop at the end, so maybe he's putting this dot in her memory. That would be really nice. Also, the second thing you see here is the underline of the signature. So underlined signature, when they're only underlined once, it means that they're optimistic and creative. However, when I was looking at different sources, some people interpret it as the ending of Y. So if we don't interpret it as an underlined signature, but as a long Y, then I would like you to look at where it crosses the Y. If the Y is being crossed, if the lowercase letter is always being crossed in the same spot, that basically shows us when trauma happened, at what age. So here we have it mostly in like 1/3. So he's now about 30, so it was around when he was like 10 to 13 years old. Let me just check something. Yes, that's actually pretty much when he lost his mom Diana. So we got it right. We also have an open A here. So whenever you see an open A or open O, it means throwing a lot of words out of... Hey, Ricky. Throwing a lot of words out of your mouth, being talkative. Last thing I want to mention is he only puts his first name as a signature. So he omits family name, which may indicate he doesn't feel strong family bonds with his family, or he just might want to detach himself and pose as an individual. If I was meant to summarize the signature, we have a confident, optimistic person who has a lot of going on in their head. However, because of some past trauma and because of a lot of pressure being put on him, he tends to be anxious, he tends to lose it every now and then, and he needs to live in the present to deal with everything that's going on in his life. Now let's talk about Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish is an American singer and songwriter. After looking into her signature, I can see quite a few interesting traits, so stay with me. First, we have a size of her signature, so it's hard to determine because, as you can see, she puts different sizes of signatures, so we're gonna skip this one. The signature is very wide, which points at visionary but also very prideful individual. The pressure is medium, so she's overly balanced, at least that's how she appears. The spacing between the letters is huge, and the spacing between letters talks about intimacy in close personal relationships. So it might mean that she's generous, that she wants to give a lot, but also that she pushes people away. There is no slant in her signature, so she's highly intelligent, calm, determined, and values stability. The signature is rather messy, so there's a lot of going on in her head, and these letters point at angularity. You can see here, here. Angularity means again that the person is very determined. Okay, now letter specifics. We definitely see that the signature is retracing back. So generally, if you have something like this under your signature, it means that you are very determined. However, as you can see, this ending is pointing towards the back, so towards past. There was something happening in her past, she can't deal with it, and if we can make a bold statement that determination is deriving from depression. Let's see whether we can find more traits to confirm this. The first letter E, it should be capital, however she puts it in a lowercase. So whenever you put the first name of your name in lowercase, it means you don't value yourself, you feel low self-worth. May also mean that you have small ego, but we need to look at what traits are backing up the theory. Look at the eyes now. The eyes have no dots whatsoever. So it means that the person is careless and neglectful. Taking these traits all together may be neglectful towards herself. The baseline is going up, which means the individual is future-oriented. If we look at the zones, then most of her signature falls under the upper zone, which stands for high aspirations for the future. So if I was meant to summarize this person, I would say this individual is obsessed about the success, about achieving success, puts a lot of pressure on herself, has very high goals, but at the same time is not really loving herself. There's definitely some anxiety here happening. There is very high likelihood of depression. Let me just check one thing. If we look into her biography, and there we have it. Indeed, she says she was struggling with depression, struggles with anxiety. So, well. Now we have Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is an American actor and film producer. His signature consists only of initials, which I'm gonna talk about in a moment, but we see that the signature is rather large. So we have a confident and outgoing individual, this kind of larger than life personality. I was talking about it in my first video, you can check it out here. The width is rather small, so he is meticulous and practical, also routine oriented. These are heavy strokes, heavy pressure of the pen, so it points at his determination and being strong-minded. My gosh, we only have determination here. It has a regular spacing between the letters, which means he's pretty much okay in personal relationships. There is no slant. No, there is no slant. The signature is straight, so it means he's highly intelligent, calm, determined. His signature is legible, which indicates clear mind. It's kind of like, I know what I want, okay? The letters are rather oval, which means he's very creative, open, and if we can make an assumption, open to new possibilities. Now the letter specific. The signature is underlined here. However, it's not the same kind of underline we had before, so we cannot assume he's optimistic and creative. This is gonna talk about something different. I actually don't know this trait. I will have to search it out. If you guys know what this underlying means, then please comment down below. I'm really curious to find out. Then we have the letter B. The letter B is opened. I found it might mean the dissatisfaction with wealth, like never having enough. That might actually connect to why he's so determined constantly to achieve success. The way he writes a letter P, I believe it's crucial here, because as you can see, it's not the standard way of writing letter P. He either writes it from the bottom or he writes it like this with just one stroke. We can see that the B letter and the P letter has very big loops. And guys, I gotta admit, I failed here with these two. If anyone knows what particularly letters B and P are talking about and these loops inside, please let me know. Let's learn together. Okay, and the first thing that we see that I should probably mention at the beginning is that his signature consists of initials. So whenever you see initials, it means that the person is independent and very efficient. And indeed, as a quick summary, this signature describes a person who's very determined, very keen to achieve success. He's gonna work his whole life to get there. Now let's jump to the signature of Zayn Malik. So Zayn is an English singer and he's a past member of One Direction. Whoa, that's interesting. I tried to find a way to see the size of his signature. So I found a picture of all One Direction members and his signature comes in a pretty medium size, which means he is modest, well-adjusted and has a stable sense of self. The width of the signature, again, it's small. Since I'll show you one picture here. Oh, there we have it. So he puts only the first letters. He puts Zayn, Javad, which is his second name. I'm gonna mention it later. And M for Malik. The width of the signature is relatively small actually for these letters, which means he's very meticulous, practical and routine oriented. The pressure is rather medium, so again he's pretty well balanced, and there is no spacing in between the letters, which points out at him being an intellectual, rather closed off and anxious. The slant is towards the left, which means he's pessimistic, something happened in the past, and the signature is definitely legible, which means he has a messy mind. I would say there's a lot of angularity here, especially here on the M and on top of the letters, which points at him being stubborn, tenacious, and again, determined. First thing we see when we look at the signature is a lot of tangling happening here. So it means he has a lot of muddle in his head. Okay, we have the trait confirmed. It was signifying a messy mind before. Now, why he puts his second name in his signature? That might simply mean he's very meticulous, he doesn't want to omit any important information. And we also have giant lower loops. We're talking about the lower zone here, which describes daily mundane things like food, money, sex, and large loops in the zone indicate that there's lots of attention being put there. Again, he only puts the initials, which points at his independence and efficiency. With this individual, we also have a lot of traits of determination. However, from his signature analysis, it's not as simple and straightforward as with the previous individual. Here we can see that the person is very determined, but he has some unresolved issues from the past, and he has rather unresolved issues in his mind in the present moment. So why did we have traits of being well balanced, you might ask? This is what signature analysis is all about. Signature points only at how we want to appear, so he may want to appear as a well-balanced individual, however there's actually a lot of going on under the surface. Now the last person of today is gonna be Barack Obama. So Barack Obama is the 44th United States president, and after looking at his handwriting, we can say his signature is large, so we have a confident, outgoing individual. His signature is white, so we have optimistic, communicative, and again confident individual. The pen pressure is medium, so he's pretty well balanced. However, on different pictures, the pressure seems to vary. So I'm wondering whether these signatures with different pressure are from later years of his presidency. Let me check. So yes, after looking at like 20 different signatures of his through different years, I would assume that the shaky hand appear later in the years, and it might be because of stress, might be because of tiredness, might be because I'm sort of anxiety creeping in, you know, dealing with a country is a big thing after all. His signature is white, which means he's optimistic, communicative, again confident, and that he also might be craving recognition. When we talk about spacing, there is no spaces really between the letters or the words, which points out he's a very intellectual person, but also might be anxious. Also, I found that connection between all the letters means that the individual has fluidity of thoughts. His handwriting is really legible, so it means he has everything organized in his head, his mind is clear, and I'm not sure what to say about the fluidity of letters since they seem to be changing. So we're gonna leave it. Let's jump to letter specifics. The first thing we see is that he has giant first letters, the B and the O. So it means he's most likely socially prominent and proud. We have a connection. Now we have pride, and before we had that he craves recognition. His A's are very clear. There's no looping inside, which means that he's simply honest. Which is very good in a president. There is this V formation in the letter M, which points at his analytical thinking. The baseline is very straight, so he's a perfectionist. If you look at the B here, the B is below the baseline, which means he's very determined individual. And the last straight line here points out at his enthusiasm and being very cautious. There are two traits here that I didn't know how to interpret, so again, let me know if you know. The B is tangling here at the bottom, and the O is being crossed out halfway through with the B letter. So let me know in the comments below if you know what it means. As a summary, the bearer of the signature is a very responsible, very determined, very perfectionist, very analytical thinking individual. He's also trustworthy, he has a stable mind, he's very emotionally stable, which are very good traits. And just like that, we finish analyzing 10 famous people's handwriting. Let me know guys how you like the video, how you like the series. In the next few weeks I'm going to learn more about letter-specific traits, so look out for these videos, they'll be shortly appearing on this channel. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!